Oh, by the way, I need some paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Just gonna leave people running. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
According to the Brady campaign, 36,383 people die every year from gun violence. Every day, 100 people are shot and killed. According to an LA Times research article, within the past 50 years, mass shootings in America have increased in both prevalence and in death count. So, gun violence has more to do with just mass shootings. Mass shootings are definitely the most media covered aspect, but it also has to do with domestic violence, suicide, and accidental shooting, which is a lot of things that people don't really consider when it comes to gun violence. So, gun violence can happen anywhere, at every time, and to anyone. Gun violence has actually affected the Pepperdine community. Within the past year, or almost exactly a year ago, 18-year-old student Elena Housley was shot and killed at the Borderline Bar and Grill here in Thousand Oaks. She was one of 12 who was killed in this mass shooting. And you kind of think it's never going to happen to someone like you, but she was someone like me. She was an 18-year-old student, a freshman. She had just heard back about her Florence application decision. She was excited to study abroad with her friends, but sadly, her life was cut short by gun violence. According to the DuPont Journal for Social Justice, more than 350 incidents of gunfire have happened on campuses within the past 5 years. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what does, because we are students on a campus, clearly. We live on the campus every day, at least for the freshmen, and we're always here. And it's way more prevalent than we may think. You may think it's never going to happen to you, but a student who survived the Parkland shooting kind of sums it up. She said, I was in those classrooms every day, so it's just like, how can something happen like this? It was 20 minutes before school was supposed to end. It affects real people. It affects students like us, families like ours, and teachers like ours. One of the earliest examples of a mass shooting was the UT Austin sniper. According to the Austin History Center, he climbed to the observation deck of the clock tower, and within a few minutes, he killed 17 people and injured 30, all with his legally obtained Remington model rifle. Now, mass shootings have increased a lot more in prevalence since then, and I'm sure you guys recognize some of the names like Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Vegas, Aurora, and Orlando, just to name a few. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and argue that we should get rid of guns and gun sales completely, because no one is ever going to agree on that, and that's not something that people are really going to see eye to eye about. But I think we can all agree that there is some kind of regulation that needs to happen. Within 320 out of 320 of the weapons used in the past mass shootings, 179 of them were obtained legally. So if people can obtain 179 guns that are going to be used for horrific events like this, there's clearly a problem. There's no way that someone who wants to commit these crimes should be able to have a gun in their hands. This was all according to a Washington Post research article. So how can we regulate? The first thing that really needs to happen is passing some kind of legislation. This is an example of the California recently passed the GVRO bill, which is the Gun Violence Restraining Order bill. And basically that's where they allowed like teachers or students or employers or someone like that in the community to basically report someone if they feel that they are a threat to themselves or to others, and they take away their gun for I think it's a period of 21 days or something like that. And that's definitely like on the lower end of reform, but it's definitely something that we can all agree is helpful and in the right direction. After that, one thing that needs to happen once we legislate and figure out how to get rid of taking guns from the people who are legally buying them that don't want to do good things, getting rid of the people who are illegally buying them and don't want to do good things. And that's kind of a little bit more of a tricky topic, but it's something that needs to happen. They just have to cut off illegal underground markets, which I'm not going to get into all of that right now. But another interesting thing that I found while researching was improving public spaces. So this is an example of a Philadelphia suburb that they started turning their empty lots like this, where makes their community look better, it gets rid of the gun violence aspect, which I thought was really interesting. And this was all part of this CNNY article. So like I said, not everyone's going to agree on a solution, but I think we can all agree that no one really deserves to die by being shot. We do have the freedom to bear arms, that is in our Constitution, woohoo, but I think we all do have a freedom to live without fear of being shot and killed in places where we work and eat and go to the movies and worship and stuff like that, and that's not something we should have to worry about. I know for me, ever since we were young, we've been seeing these mass shootings on TV and stuff like that, and I know for me, or at least for other people, having to worry about that every time you go into a public space or sitting in the classroom being like, oh my gosh, who's gonna like shoot up the school today? Like that's not something we should even have to think about, but it is. John Kerry, the former Secretary of State, kind of sums it up. He said, each and every child in this country is valuable because they are our futures of society. We cannot afford to lose a single child to ill health, undereducation, abuse, addiction, jail, or gun violence. America's highest goal should be for every child to grow up to be a successful young adult, healthy, educated, free, secure, and a good citizen. Statistically, just having a gun in the house makes the potential for violence that much higher. It doubles the risk of homicide, triples the risk of suicide by death, and in a domestic violence situation, a woman is 5 times more likely to be killed with a gun in the house. And another aspect that people don't think about is the local economy. So basically, if there's a lot of gun violence or murder in your neighborhood, people aren't going to want to move there. That's kind of self-explanatory. And the Philadelphia Inquirer talked about how it affects property tax, and they researched and found that if murder decreased by at least 10% for 5 years, they would bring in $114 million more into their community, which is just another benefit. So what can we do? I'm sure you're like, wow, what can we do? I've been hearing all these sad statistics. I want to get involved. So one thing you can do is join a march. You guys have probably heard of March for Our Lives. That's just one example. But there's a lot of ways you can look up different marches around you. A lot of them happen in the month of March because March for Our Lives. You see what I'm doing there? Okay. And then another thing you can do is contact your local officials. You can send them letters. You can call them. You can even tweet at them. Anything you can do to kind of get their attention and show that you have a voice and that you care about this. And then one of the easier ways you can do it is donate to programs that seek to end gun violence, like Every Town, which is the one right here, or the Brady campaign. So again, why should we eliminate gun violence instead of 36,383 lives being lost every year to gun violence?